Do some of your players roll their eyes at this shit, or are they all bought in?
Every day. Every day. They roll
Wait,
their eyes.
which?
Every day.
Which? Roll their
I
eyes?
mean, I think, oh yeah. Well, it's sometimes in jest,
Yeah.
and they actually tease me a lot.
Yeah.
Like the whole uncommon thing. I always am like, are you going to be uncommon? Have your goals changed, or are you going to be like everybody else? Or whatever the case might be. And they tease me all the time. But I always say, I don't care how you're speaking it. If you're doing it to tease me, if you're doing it to challenge me, that means you're engaging. And so, and I think we've created an environment, and sometimes it's hard. I'll be really honest. After the Texas game, I brought our 4 leaders into my suite with our staff, and I said, "Look, where are we? What have your conversations been?" And be honest with you, I didn't actually really like what they said, and after they left, our coaching staff was there, and I just reminded myself, like, you know what? We created an environment so that we could actually know the truth of where they were. And we can't get mad when we don't like the truth of what they were. And so it isn't always easy. I just think I call it the healthy tension. My dear friend Julie Brown, many, many years ago, she's like, and I've heard this from another leader, that some tensions are meant to be solved and some are meant to be managed. And I believe this is one of these tensions that are meant to be managed. It's not meant to be solved and go away, because I think that's a healthy tension. That to have an environment where things that are really uncomfortable can be said and expressed. And we have a phrase in our program that all of you is welcome here. And that isn't warm and fuzzy all the time. That just isn't. And I just think sometimes as a leader, and I don't like it, and it's uncomfortable, and I have to wrestle with it, is like, okay, they told me the truth, and at least I know where I'm starting from with them. And sometimes that means they're not bought in, and I gotta deal with that as a leader and go, okay, what part of this is them? What part of this is me? What's my next right step? I got to get myself to neutral. And those tensions are good. I mean, every recruit I go into their home, I ask them the question, tell me something you're most proud of that you've accomplished or overcome. And every single time, I mean, I wish someone would say drinking iced teas on the beach. I mean, for me, hand me a glass of red wine and have a good conversation. But they don't say that ever, right? They say, man, when this happened in my life and I found a way to overcome, or when, this choice became before me. And what it does is it reminds me, and really what I do is I turn to their parents and say, look, we can't rescue them. Look at what she's most proud of. And when she comes to college, it will be the hardest thing she's ever done in her life. It'll be the most failure she's ever had in her life. Every freshman wants to quit and transfer a dozen times before Christmas. It's the reality of that. But I have to remind myself, and I love comfort as much as anybody else, but the good stuff doesn't happen there. The deep stuff doesn't happen there. The real growth doesn't happen there. And so I just think I've had, just this last week, had to remind myself that these tensions mean they're invested, that they care, and that these tensions mean that we have a choice to be good in the wrestle. And I just think that's how life is.
How do you deal with the tension that is real, given so much, I feel like, of your superpower is culture building and relationship building. And now we live in a world where you're coaching and it's very transactional, giving the transfer portal, the NILs, the collectives. So how do you deal with that tension? Because it feels like the college landscape has changed a lot.
A lot. I think I'm still learning, Julie, to be honest with you. I think that's it's a difficult thing. And it's interesting when here we are, we have this historic season, and all the awards taught me is that it really isn't why I coach. It was really great for about an hour and a half. It just is really shallow, honestly. And I didn't really know what I was going to feel until those things happened, but it just reminded me that it's not what it's all about. It's just so fleeting. But the whole trying to be transformational in a transactional world, I got to figure out how to get that right. And I cannot give that up. And so I'm going to fight tooth and nail until I just feel like I can't I'm not being effective, because the reality is that these kids are being rewarded for all the wrong things. We touched down after the Final Four last year, and the whole spring was, I didn't even celebrate our team the way I should have. I mean, they did so many amazing things, but we had 6 kids leave our program. 6, and enter the transfer portal. And so, and I'm a huge believer there are really good reasons. I have a lot of really good reasons on my team right now that are transfers. That So I don't want to be hypocritical about that. I do not think the transfer portal is the devil, or I think there needs to be better boundaries. I think there should be a better system. I think there should be some adjustments, but I'm not critical of kids that transfer, and especially not the first time. But the reality is I was shaken. I was like, oh my gosh, I've never experienced this before. And what I was trying to sift through in my mind was, what part of this do I need to let just hurt and really go, hey, what do I need to learn from this? What led to this? And what part of that? And then what part of it is, this is just the new world we're in, and I've got to change my perspective. And I don't think it was an either or. I think it was a both and. And, and I think that people really have to know their why. I mean, to answer your question, Julie, I think if people don't deeply know their why, it's going to eat them alive. And I think that it's going to be very hard to keep your North Star. And I haven't figured it out yet. I'm still learning through this new world, and it's hard. I mean, all of the college coaches' job descriptions have more than doubled, and no more pay, and especially the assistant coaches and support staffs with this new landscape. I'm afraid we're not going to be able to keep these good people in the game, and we're going to lose all these things that we're talking about because people are like, this is just not what I signed up for. And it's it sucks the life out of you.
Yeah, well, because so many coaches are not coaching because they want to get paid, but that's not the reason. Like, that's not their priority. And then when you're trying to create this transformative system, and then you have kids coming in and the world is telling them that they need to be a part of a transactional system and they need to get paid.
That's
you're
right.
like it's like oil and water, and trying to find those kids, it's like, it's nearly impossible. So I can't imagine the struggle and the frustration, because especially for coaches who are in it for actually transforming young kids, because we're also talking about children, by the way, when they're 17 and 18 years old making these decisions, they are not yet fully formed. And P.S., they're not fully formed until their late 20s, making these lifelong big decisions that will really impact their lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's brutal.
It's brutal. And I get it, but we need some organizational leadership that is not just throwing up your hands. And, and I worked really hard with the NCAA. I was on the Women's Basketball Oversight Committee for many years. I was on several things, and those are really good people. They really do have good intentions. I don't have any doubt about that. But the response to be like, well, fine, just pay them whatever you want. And now we're all just trying to scramble to survive, or I'm just going to make this decision because there's so much litigation. We can't handle lawsuits. So, here we go. Just transfer whenever you want. It's brutal. I mean, the NBA, the NWSL, the WNBA, the NFL, none of them do that. You need some, purposeful rules and competitive equity and boundaries. You guys know that I mentioned earlier, my faith is really important to me. And there's a verse in the Bible that says, boundaries lie in pleasant places. and for me, I'm talking about this way, that just for me, that's just like, we need boundaries that are for our good, not to hold us back, but for our good. And so that's something that's, really important to me. But if it doesn't happen, my days are numbered too. That's really the reality. I'll go to the WNBA.
Well, I bet you're not alone there, Cori.
Yeah. Well, and half the time, if it's going to be transactional either way, then, I mean, I'm single. I thought I would have a family by now. I mean, there's all kinds of sacrifices that I willingly made, but I did it because I thought this is my life's work. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And if I can't do
Yeah.
that, why would I do all that?